Hi, my name is Tamsin Vernon. I am an assistant head teacher and SENCo in a mainstream school in Cheshire. And I'm going to be talking about how we support our staff to engage the children with special needs in the classroom in their learning alongside their more neurotypical peers. So first of all, I'm very lucky in our school in the sense that I'm a SENCo and I'm part of the senior leadership team and therefore have a really good input into what's happening in the school in terms of the way that we support children with special needs, and also the head teacher has been a SENCo. So we are very, very much on the same wavelength and are constantly striving for the children who have barriers to learning in the school. So how do we support our staff to do that? Well, they are always having CPD when it comes to how to support the children in their class with special needs. Lots of our teachers have been trained in Makaton, in sign language. We have SALT training on the go, it seems, all the time. We are training our staff in how to make the classroom accessible for children with spectrum disorders and children with dyslexia. So training is out there and training is always available, and it's something that's really important for us, that we are constantly letting the staff go and have that training. Secondly, what we want as a senior leadership team is for the school to have a whole school or a whole class approach to being inclusive for children with special needs. So, for example, every single classroom in our school has a visual timetable, and all of the children have access to that, and all of the children are included in how it's used. Every single classroom has a photograph of the staff that will be working in there that day. Some of our teachers are part-time. So what we want the children to feel when they come into the classroom is that they know exactly what's going on and what's going to happen. And that doesn't just benefit children with spectrum disorder, it benefits all of the children. And I think the staff quite like it as well. So that's an approach that we want to have for every class and for every child. And that kind of inclusivity means that the children with the special needs don't actually stand out or feel that those things are in place just for them. When it comes to supporting the children with dyslexia, for example, what we ask the staff to do is to have their PowerPoints on, to have their backgrounds not white. So a coloured background to really support those children who are struggling to read. And also the books that we order, the exercise books that we have in school are cream, the paper's cream, so it's not white. So that also supports the children, but they don't know. So they're not children that have special paper, they have books like everybody else, but it supports them, and it's certainly not detrimental to any of the other children in the class. When it comes to supporting the children in the classroom with things like reading and writing and maths, what we try to do is, obviously we differentiate the work if they're struggling to access it, and so that they're always working at their level, and we give as much adult support as possible. However, it's really important for us to have the children communicating as much as possible. So we don't sit the children in rows, they're in groups at tables, and we try and take a Kagan approach where it's mixed ability. And we do that so that children, especially children with communication difficulties, have really, really good role models. We also enjoy getting the children to coach each other. So children who might be really strong readers or strong writers or strong mathematicians, we ask them to work alongside children who are struggling. And they often can be children with special needs. Sometimes some of our children can have a great strength. So some of our dyslexic children, even though they might struggle in a certain area like reading or writing, they might be really, really strong mathematicians. And it boosts their confidence hugely when we say to them, could you help this child? And vice versa as well. So other children, it might be a neurotypical child, might help a dyslexic child with their reading. And often when children work together, they use really good language and communication, and they can learn an awful lot from each other. So we like to use that coaching approach. And also for children with special needs, sometimes we buddy them up with the children in a younger class so that they can support them and it could be with reading, so it could be an area where they're lacking confidence. It might be that their reading is very weak. However, they may be able to read with a child much younger than themselves and help them. And whenever you coach somebody or help somebody else, you also learn, and it helps you to learn as well. So we find that coaching approach is really helpful. The other thing that we find really helps all of the children in the school and feel included is just raising awareness. So we always have an assembly for Down syndrome once a year, just to raise awareness for all of the children as to what Down syndrome is. We do the same with autism, and we do the same with ADHD. And just raising awareness in that way has had a huge impact on how children will approach children with barriers, especially children who have obvious barriers. In the past, when we've had children with quite severe autism, we've had the autism team from the local authority come in and actually do interventions for us as well, supporting the teacher in the classroom. Circle of Friends has been a really good approach for problems when children are struggling to communicate with other children in the class, or where there's been altercations. And we found that has been a really, really good intervention. So if you're struggling in that way with any of your children, I would really recommend that you ask for help from external professionals. But also Circle of Friends has been something that's really, really helped us. So I think that's about all the time I've got. But I think a whole school approach, making children feel included, raising awareness, are really good things to try.